How's everyone doing today?
Doing good, doing good. How are you doing?
Good. Do anything exciting today, or was it just work?
Gym.
Oh, gym,
Yeah,
nice. I need to get back into that. Okay.
it's
So,
my first time too. Don't worry.
oh, really? Well, congrats then. Hope it keeps going. Um, let's see. 5:02. We can give it just a couple more, let me one more minute and then we can start. I think we can get started. This space is going to be much more relaxed. If and if everybody wants to like speak or raise your hand and talk, you can do so. Ask questions. It's going to be like a back and forth with everyone involved if they want. We are Orbis 86. Welcome to our Twitter space. We are a Woman of Color led impact project showcasing a 3D NFT collection. Our collection highlights human diversity and enhances the power of storytelling. So be sure to follow us, all of our speakers and our listeners today. Join our Discord. Today we're going to be talking about cybersecurity. So we have Phil here today, who's one of the experts, and everyone can kind of introduce themselves. But this was really a starting point for, let's say, someone who wants to join the space and doesn't know anything, or someone who's recently joined the Web3 space and has some questions. I am myself one of those persons who recently got into the Web3 space. So these are all questions that I have, and I know they're important, but sometimes you don't always have the right answers, or if you look up answers, you don't always know which is the best option. So I think that's why we're going to go through this today, because I'm sure many other people have these same questions. So yeah, feel free to pitch in, add, question. If you need something clarified, please let us know. Um, and let's introduce our speakers. So Phil, do you want to go ahead?
Yeah, hello. My name's Philip Ross. I've been into IT and tech for over than that, pretty close to 25 years, and I did college for 7.5. CS networking, cybersecurity certified, Cisco certified, IT technician certified, and I'm also a counselor, registered and licensed. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Phil. Pop Cycle. Do
Popsicle. Hi, how are you?
Popsicle. Oh my God, Popsicle. I get it now.
Yes, I'm Teresa. I am the founder of Popsicle. It stands for Protecting Our Precious Curious Kids Online. We are an emerging cybersecurity awareness company for kids, and we started the company last February. I have been working in cybersecurity since 2014 as a technical writer, project manager, and customer experience consultant. I've worked in a number of different industries as a consultant and currently working in cryptography. And so happy to be here and help out.
Thank you so much, Teresa. Wow, we have some very stellar people here. So I think we can get started. So when getting into crypto, what are some main factors for security when a person first gets involved? Like, what should they be concerned with?
I think the first priority key would be to have some patience because 90% of all errors are human error, that happen. And so it's good to just take that breath and slow down and read the fine print. Like that's the best advice I can really get. give when first getting in crypto. Other than that, like to put funds in a separate account. Use a different email account, and then make a password phrase. Make it like something that is like a phrase. A sentence, a small sentence. With characters in it and whatnot. Those are less able to be detected, or less able to be the rendering when it comes to video graphic cards they use, because when I did tournaments, that's how they hack passwords out. It all depend on the graphic speed and the computer itself, along with like word lists and stuff like that used. There's other tools that certain hackers do have, but other than that, to download certain apps like Google Authenticator or Authy, some kind of 2FA, to decentralize your accounts. And to define what 2FA means is basically, well, no, let's go back. Well, a person can use like 12 to 14 characters, but they can use up to 28 characters for a password. But I like to use the long ones, like I said, with the phrase. It's just easier to remember, and it's less confusing.
Interesting. Thank you, Phil. Popsicle, Teresa, do you wanna add anything?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm going to reiterate some of the things that Phil said, but from a little different perspective. I think it's worth your time to actually also read the terms and conditions and privacy policy so that you also know what information you're going to be sharing with any platform that you sign up for, or that's like MetaMask or Coinbase or any of the other ones that you OpenSea, that you're going to be engaging with, so that you know how to protect your privacy and your data. And I would agree with him. It's really important to create a strong password. We always recommend 12 or more characters, whether that's uppercase, lowercase numbers, and special characters. We also suggest using a passphrase and also a password manager to store your passwords and your seed phrases, so that all of those are in a central location and they're easy to access, and you're not having to use anything like an unencrypted like plain text file like a Word document or an Excel spreadsheet or something like that, but having it in a password manager. And of course, using multi-factor authentication, which is that secondary line of defense for accessing your data.
Okay, great. So those password managers, I know I noticed them on Chrome and stuff. Are those the kind you're talking about, or would it be something different?
You could use something like LastPass or Nord. I can't. Phil, do you know what it's called?
NordVPN.
NordVPN.
NordVPN. Yeah, they have a password generator. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. And there's a bunch that you can research online for password manager to store your passwords.
Cool. Thank you, Teresa. DC Scotty, did you want to say something?
Yes, I do. Thank you for letting me speak. And I don't mean to change the conversation too much, but I am studying cybersecurity right now, and I'm at the final phase, and it is kicking my ass. And I have, one of the things that I'm having an issue with right now is actually reading some of these command line interfaces. I feel like I have everything else down except this piece. I don't have any labs or anything. I don't own a second computer. I'm poor. I'm just gonna put it out there. I'm kind of poor. So what I would like to know is, do you guys recommend any YouTube videos or maybe any books that kind of help me interpret some of these intrusion detection system um, logging inputs, or some of these what did they call it? A directory traversal. Man, I had no idea how to read that. So what do you recommend in terms of maybe it is a lab, but what do you recommend in terms of helping me understand these type of command line interfaces?
I'm going to defer to Phil.
Well, truthfully, I'd have to grab out my book because I was not expecting a question that complicated right now. I personally, like, it is hard, when it comes down to coding. They pull the training wheels off, and then you're right inside of Python, and I mean, like, you're basically, it's easier, I think, personally, like for myself, like when I was using during tournaments, Linux, and I was like copying some of the code and then putting it in and learning the algorithms and everything like that. I would spend 10 to 12 hours a day just on learning code. It was not easy, I'll tell you that. There was no really, good way of learning, which I think there should be, and that's where I think there's a flaw in the system.
Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Looks like I'm just gonna have to stick with trying to get up on
DM me,
my Python.
go ahead and follow me, and then DM me, and I'll cipher through my books because I can find that information out for you.
Appreciate that. I'll drop down a listener. Thank you guys.
Oh, well, thank you for coming up and answering. Asking a question. I mean, this is what we're here for. And the connections you meet, yeah, definitely. Phil can probably help you out a little bit later, but thank you for that. Phil, you had your hand up before this. Did you want to add anything to the first question?
I do. I mean, I like the fact that Popsicle was referring to the password generators for easy access and stuff like that, but at the same time, I disagree. I rather have things on paper. And the reason I say that is because you can always say forget password and have a secondary email account. Or, but when you keep things stored on a device, you have risk that you are taking to, get compromised regardless. Like, I have looked deep into this at the risk. I don't only look at the scam, I look at the risk, and then the risk of using even a password generator or a VPN. Some countries might not allow it. It might have slower, like, connectivity. There's just all kinds of different things. And that's why, I kind of disagree with, like, not just, I mean, writing it down on paper is the more efficient way to go.
If you have your piece of paper with you all the time.
That
I mean,
is very true.
you and I could debate this all night, but we're not. I mean, there's something to be said about having that piece of paper, and you can jot down the password simply, at the time that you're creating the password. And sometimes I do that kind of, if I'm signing up for something new, I'll be like, what is my connection to this platform or this app? And I can write down a password by hand, and then I'm still going to add it to my password manager. So, I mean,
as long as you have a good enough password manager that is, decrypting those keys, constantly, right?
yeah, I mean, anything can be hacked. Obviously, with LastPass, they just had a security incident. Multi-factor authentication can be hacked. So, but it's still better than nothing, right?
Yeah, no, you're right. No, at a simple level, you're right. Like, I do agree. It's just that recent scam with the iPhones, it was allowing people to have access to admin access rights to their devices.
Yeah, security is scary. It seems like no matter what you do, there's always going to be a slight breach. But I think, yeah, if we meet in the middle ground, maybe doing a bit of both. I just got a wallet, so I put like the seed phrase actually written down in like a safe. So I did that because I feel like it's going to be extremely important to keep that safe. But like all my other passwords, I mean, I shouldn't say it's out loud, but I have an Excel spreadsheet with my passwords because there's just so many. Like a lot of them, I don't put the complete password. Like I know, like I try to create like phrases that I memorize to like complete them, so they're not all. But I mean, these are like subscriptions. Sometimes they're not super important passwords either. But
Don't
yeah.
worry, I get told all the time that I'm using the same password in 5, 6 different areas, so I have no right to even
I
say
know.
that.
I mean, we have to find a way to make it feasible. I mean, there's so many passwords nowadays, like everything. It's just I can't. I don't know. Even if I write it down, I think I started writing it down in my notebook. I went through it, like by the time I got through the first few passwords, there was like pages and pages. I'm like, I'm not. This is not going to be useful. So.
It might be really easy to social engineer you then, Phil.
Thank you.
Uh, okay, so passwords. Oh, and on that note, so would be using those Google autofill randomized passwords work, or I mean, they're randomizing the password for you. Doesn't that mean it's in the system somewhere that someone can hack?
Yeah, anything's still hackable if they get, your IP address, like meaning like access to your router. That's why it's good to like set up your router in the very beginning and like change the password, because you can always hit reset and it always has, the password that it came with. And then if you, I mean, it's kind of complicated. That's the only thing I don't like about certain routers, because they're all kind of going app based. But like in a way, I'm getting so used to it that it's not as hard as it seems. But it's a good thing too, and to also turn on MAC filtering when you got your router, in your router settings, and then that way, in case somebody does come inside, your passwords on your IP's on a lease, like a 30-day lease. So like, um, we don't officially really own them. They just like they change automatically. We don't really know sometimes when that lease is up. That's why sometimes connectivity will be a little bit difficult.
You actually make a good point about um, updating the default password. You could actually do that with any of your IoT Internet of Things devices, and that would be ideal as you set up new appliances in your home, or whether you have like an Alexa or something like that that's in your home that you use, because those are also hackable.
Cool. Okay. Interesting. Thank you for that info. So let's move on to like what are hot wallets and why would you use a hot wallet?
So me personally, I would use a hot wallet. Well, I mean, we got what Trust Wallet, MetaMask, Coinbase, like DApp. We got all kinds of hot wallets. But like the reason I would personally use one is because of the fact that it's decentralized, and what I like is that like there's a small little clause in Coinbase and in like Crypto.com that states that if they go bankrupt, like you lose all your crypto. So even if it was staked into one of those centralized places and they went down, at least like if it was in a decentralized wallet, you wouldn't lose your cryptocurrency.
Wait, so these wallets are not back, they're decentralized, so you won't get your money back if something happens?
And the centralized ones, like for example, Coinbase, like or Crypto.com, those places. Now, not the Coinbase Wallet Connect, like that's a D app or Trust Wallet or MetaMask. You wouldn't lose your crypto in there if like if the Coinbase or something like that like went down, because there's a small clause that says like that if they went bankrupt, like you're gonna lose all your assets. I've already read it. I've read through a lot of their small clauses. That a lot of people pass by. And it's easy to do because it's hard to see actually and find sometimes.
Okay, cool. Makes sense. Thank you, Phil. Teresa, did you want to add anything?
No, I'm good.
Okay, cool. So on that note, what are exchanges and how are they different from hot wallets?
So exchanges are different because like they're a centralized place. You need to have a KYC, a know your customer. That means like you have to use a picture face ID of yourself front and back, and a picture taken of yourself. That way they know who you are. I mean, that's one good thing I like, and that you can two-factor authenticate. that area. And that's one thing I really love the most about like centralized exchanges. And like, so what was the second part of the question, real quick?
So how are the exchanges different from hot wallets?
They're different because like they have more connectivity, like or no, I'm sorry. You can easily exchange your funds in and out, like in a centralized place. Like and then like, so say you have everything in, let's say your Trust Wallet or MetaMask, you can easily like, whitelist your address in crypto.com, and then withdraw your funds and then be able to put it into USD, and that's a good thing to have on top of that's why a lot of people probably don't know this, but like you have to have your crypto.com DeFi wallet connected also on top of your crypto.com wallet connected in order to get one of those cards, like how Coinbase has like those credit cards, and then so does crypto.com. Well, it's nice in a way, because then you could pull your assets out and then wait for a certain time or whatever when you need, and then you could put it in USD and then use the card as a form of buying stuff, just like a credit card or just like a debit card.
So kind of like a regular bank. So you can just move money around and use it as USD.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Phil. Albert, did you have anything you wanted to add?
Yeah. Most of the people think that having their cryptos on the exchange is like a way of their wallet. Our cryptos basically are stored on a wallet that has a private key and a public key. And when we are storing them on an exchange, actually the exchange is not giving us the private key of those cryptos that we have in the system. So basically, we are not actually in control of those cryptos, but the exchange has control of those cryptos, which is nothing minor. So I only recommend people to move to the exchanges their cryptos when they are going to do some transactions. Otherwise, use a hard. I mean, you have many alternatives when it comes to cold storage wallets and hard storage wallets. Particular, I use Ledger, but also be careful, as Phil was sorry. Yeah, Phil was saying everything is hackable. That's completely right. And there are also, for example, in eBay, you can go and look up for Ledger wallets, and you can find them, but maybe the price is a little bit lower than the price of these devices new in other places or the manufacturer. And actually, many they have found that many of those devices have been altered by hackers. So when you buy them used, you are actually putting your cryptos there and saying goodbye to your cryptos, because those devices have been modified, their firmware has been altered, and you are basically getting all your saying goodbye to all your cryptos. So you have to consider so many things when it comes to all this that is overwhelming for most of us. But we have to learn, because this is the reality. And I have lost a lot of money in different ways that are I'm not going to mention about all of them now, but things that are completely crazy. And Phil was saying also, it's all about risk, and the risk that you are unable to identify is the risk that is going to knock you down. So. And it happened to me many times. So yeah, I identify what are the risks you are exposed to and try to mitigate them. Because everybody's different. Everybody can use NFTs, crypto for different with different objectives, with different I don't know, willing to profit from the trading daily, willing to I don't know, buy NFT for a long-term investment. I don't know. Each one of us is different, and okay, for example, we are starting a project about NFTs. We don't want that project to be linked to a wallet that belongs to a person. We want that project be linked to a wallet that belongs to the project itself. So in order to access to that wallet, we probably will use something like multisig that people would be only available to access to that wallet if I don't know, two or more people in that group are actually entering their keyboard, their password at the same time. So there are different controls, but yes, it's overwhelming all the security issues that we have to come across when it comes to cryptocurrencies and NFTs.
Thank you, Albert. That is very overwhelming. Um, and like I said, for people who are new and getting into this, it's probably even more overwhelming. And also, so do you need to have multiple wallets for like each type of cryptocurrency, or are there
So
wallets that have?
I can tell you,
Mhm.
have you can if you are for example, if you are using an OpenSea account to sell your NFTs, okay, you probably have a MetaMask plugin for Chrome or MetaMask. Okay, have it with as low as cryptos as you can, and yeah, have as many crypto wallets as you can, different devices. Don't put all the eggs in the same basket. That's not a good idea.
Yeah, you made a really good point there because if you're gonna have a lot of asset, keep kind of that in a secure location. I would like to I like the fact that Ledger Live kind of teamed up with MetaMask recently, and they made there's an article in Medium if you look up at MetaMask with two capital M's, of course, and if you scroll down, they teamed up and they have a document that states chainlist underscore WTF, and within chainlist W score or underscore WTF, you can basically you can link your wallet, because I was getting ready to do a video on security when it came to, like linking up Polygon and other chains like safely, without they're in your networks. Well, instead, like you can go to this chain list and you can like, easy click of the button and it does it right for you. So now you're on, like different networks, constant Polygon or, like, all kinds of other different networks that are structured around MetaMask.
Okay, that's pretty interesting. I need to write all these things down. Teresa, did you want to add anything?
I'm good. I'm still learning about Web3 and blockchain and NFTs, so I'm listening in this part. I'm more cybersecurity.
Okay, no problem. And definitely ask questions. Like, if we're also here to learn, and if anyone who's new in the audience want to ask questions about these basics, definitely come up and raise your hand. So the next question is, sorry, I lost my place. Oh, and so these wallets, are they only for storing, or can you also trade exchange within the wallet, or you need to go to the exchanges to like exchange money, cryptocurrencies?
That all depends on the contract. Like with the ERC20, ERC20s are Ethereum coins, and they can be exchanged if there's liquidity behind them. And same with ERC 721s, and same with like lately I just recently found out that they have ERC 721As also, and these they cost less. And there is also something I'll give a little bit of alpha information out. They have what's it called? They have there's a Medium article out that I'll post one here really soon, where it's an RPC flashbot that you could put in your network settings. Now the good thing about that flashbot is you're not paying the ecosystem of Ethereum. You're only paying like the miner. So if like you get a sandwich bot attack, meaning somebody pumps the gas from the top side, and then somebody pumps the gas from the bottom side, and they're buying out all the NFTs, and like all of a sudden like the ETH is it eats a lot of your gas away, and let's just say it was 0.25 ETH. That's quite a bit of money for a lot of people, and maybe it was couple $100. Well, if that happens, it kicks off the transaction, and you don't lose any money whatsoever. This happens also with coins and with like and with NFTs.
Thank you, Phil. Allie, did you want to say something or ask a question?
Yeah, thanks so much. I forgive me. I just have a really simple question. Is the whole point of cryptocurrency the theory that we can avoid the banking system and thus paying taxes on things? Or, what is the point? Because it sounds like it's so complicated and so risky that I'm not quite. I would really. I find it very interesting. I'm an artist. I would be interested in selling my art online. And it seems like this is the system that a lot of people are turning to. But the part where you convert it from cryptocurrency to whatever your real currency that you need to live with, and I live in Europe, and they already have accounts in the banks for cryptocurrency, but you get taxed on that just the same. You would have to hide the cryptocurrency account if you didn't want to get taxed on it. And then that seems like that's completely risky. So I'm just wondering what's the attraction, and Alberto, for example, you had said something about, I don't know if you can hear me because just, yeah, Alberto, you had said something about that we will be going in that direction. So we need to get used to the idea. But can you just explain more to me about it? And I'm sorry if I'm interrupting your flow for your room here.
No, no. I actually didn't hear your whole question, but I hear the first part, and I can tell you, no, it's not about avoiding taxes. That's for sure. It's not about avoiding taxes. That's completely something that I can tell you. It's not about that. It's about being able of two people agreeing on exchanging something that has value for another thing. It's like I have a chicken and you have, I don't know, you have a pig and you say, okay, Alberto, I will give you this in exchange of this. Nobody has to be in the middle in order to control that. The same way I can tell you, I already gave you this example. Ali, I have a Bitcoin for sale. I will sell it to you for $1. Nobody can stop me from selling you to that Bitcoin for $1. Of course, I will be the most stupid guy on earth. You will be the most lucky woman on the earth. But yeah, there's nobody that should be in the middle of the transaction because it's something that is two people getting to agreeing on exchanging something, and that's the philosophy between cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin, that was the first one, and that's the philosophy. It's not about having any party in the middle interacting, fiscally, I don't know, monitoring, acting, or making you pay taxes for that. Which, okay, unfortunately, the model is changing, and we cannot escape from the governments and other big interests that are making that change. But the philosophy behind that is very simple. It's like uh, people interacting and making uh, mm, agree with other people on certain things. That's the philosophy that unfortunately is not being followed. I don't know, Ali, if that answer your question, but it's not about avoiding taxes. It's about the philosophy of two people agreeing on doing something without the need of anything.
Yeah, without a third party taking a cut, is that it?
Well, you can also set your rate, like the, exchange rates, when it comes down to the percentages, in your contract, say through OpenSea, and make it less, that way, like, the market ain't taking so much away. And they're still working on a lot of that, in these exchanges for NFTs. And then you can also make your content lockable or unlockable. So then you don't have to pay so much money when it comes down to a contract.
So as I'm listening, you guys talking about the security risks though that are involved, and it sounds like, as I've heard you talk about, and I'm really these. Forgive me if I'm like derailing your room in a direction you don't want to go, because I'll be very glad to stop, and you can go back. It sounds like there's so much energy that's been put into people trying to jump into the middle of these agreements and steal money through cryptocurrency, and that it's so vulnerable, that you have so many layers of security you're going to have to try and put on it. Um, and be so far ahead of the folks that are trying to steal the money. It seems to kind of defeat the purpose, because then you're going to have to like learn, become an expert in cybersecurity to be able to, for example, for me to sell a painting. And I just is that where is the advantage in it if it's so vulnerable to theft, for example, if it's so vulnerable to security issues?
It's not really, as vulnerable as you're thinking it is. As long as you're just updating, your browser, you're clearing your caches, and like two-factor authenticating your accounts. Other than that, like it's really, we're just talking a little bit way technical right now, but you don't there are risks, don't get me wrong, because it is a risk. It's no different than me trading money for some apples and then there or potatoes, and then all of a sudden I got a bag full of rotten potatoes at the end of it, that I didn't see. It's just a little example I have, but like sometimes we take those risks even when we're buying food or other things, because we're not clearly looking at everything within that bag. I just wanted to use that analogy because, when talking about cybersecurity, we can get a little bit too technical sometimes, or at least I know I can.
And the so what then is the actual advantage over whatever the regular monetary system is? It's just the idea of there's a percentage taken off of any transaction.
Yeah, certain marketplaces take, different marketplaces have different amounts that they take out. I believe it's somewhere around 12%, like that OpenSea takes out, which we know is a big exchange. But there's a way which I have not looked into yet, to be honest, because I haven't launched any projects of my own. But there's a way that you can set, like the rates, for the exchange, and I don't know which rates those are, but you're for the amount, and you're not going to be losing much money because that's on the secondary market. That's not on like the initial mint and what goes on, and when somebody buys your art, for to say.
So, Alberto, did I hear you say, though, that you think that this is the way the future will be, and so we all need to learn it? And can you tell me a little bit more about why you think that?
I cannot tell you about the future. I wish I have that power, but I don't know. If I had that power, I would be selling my services of tell you the future. give me a coin and I will tell you now. Really, this is a model that okay, it has been around since 2008. That was the Satoshi paper. This appeared, and so far the the big financial institutions, okay, they saw the threat. They created certain tools, such as, for example, Ripple, which right now I don't know if it's among the most the cryptos that has the most market capitalization out there. Um, but the fact is that they're seeing, for example, imagine Western Union 20 years ago to send money from the USA to Mexico using Western Union. You probably had to pay $50 to send $200. That was ridiculous. With cryptos, you have the alternative to pay a few cents or dollars to make the same, to send the same amount of money to people in other countries. Okay, the market has to adapt themselves to this. This is wonderful. People can choose. This leads to improvement. We are getting services at a better price, so the customer at the end is getting the benefits of having different alternatives, and the market has to adjust themselves in order to compete. Otherwise, they will disappear. I don't know what the future will be, but if I had to bet, I think for some time an hybrid model between cryptos and fiat currency will be around, and I cannot tell you about much further than that.
Okay. So I thank you very much for that look into your crystal ball, and I'll step down. Thanks so much for letting me join your discussion. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Allie, thank you. That's what this is for, and we love having people ask their questions. They're all legitimate questions. I mean, I think we don't all know the future, and the future is getting more complicated sometimes. But these aren't risks that have not been happening. I mean, we're getting all these credit card fraud attacks and people's identity being stolen. I mean, this is happening, and we need to kind of learn to adapt if we want to protect ourselves. Um, so yeah, it might be a little hard, and sure, you may not want to get into it. Um, but
This is kind. Oh,
go
sorry.
ahead. Go ahead.
This is kind of why, like, I do the research when it comes to even a phone I buy. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm gonna buy a phone, like, I want to know what the security is behind that phone. You know, like, that's just me because, for example, the new S22, Samsung, like, somebody can take a picture of your face and open and unlock your phone if you have facial recognition. But as for the iPhone, like, it does a really good scan of your face, and you don't have to worry about that. We're going to be seeing applications that come out that will be able to recognize your face way up in your, before you even pass, like, which is a good thing.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, technology is always evolving and changing, and it's not always going to be easy. I mean, Phil, that facial recognition to me sounds a little bit scary, but I mean, that's the way of the future, I guess. It's
Well,
just no one's going to have privacy, I guess.
no, well, we don't have privacy anyway when we walk down the street or go to the bank because, like, there's cameras all over the place. I mean, they can really trigger down all the way down to even a dime. So, I mean, it's just how we are and how we live in the world. But other cultures see that as a good thing. Like, they see it as, hey, there's the old lady walking down the street. I have a really good friend in Tokyo, and he's like, like, he goes, the culture there, they're all kind of watching out for one another. So, like, they don't mind their privacy being, invaded one bit, because what if that lady falls over and nobody's there to help her out, like when she's in an alley or something else like that. Well, there's always that lifting hand, and that's something that is truly good that I would like to see moving forward in DeFi and crypto.
Thanks, Phil. Um, hey, Kelly, did you want to add or something or ask a question? Kelly? Okay, we can, I guess, come back. But yeah, anyone who has a question, feel free. Oh, hi, Kelly.
Yeah, how's everyone doing?
Good.
Okay, I actually joined the space late. I came to learn about security in Web3. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can
Yeah.
hear you.
Yeah. So I actually have some certain questions to ask.
Sure.
Okay, one is we all know Web3 is a booming area in like of recent. So like if one is to protect his own project, like what methods or what technologies is available to use like currently?
Currently, are you referring to like where you would want to kind of start, or like are you referring to like making a Discord, or like making pictures or
Yeah.
even poems?
Discord, protecting your project as a whole, both the community and the project itself.
Well, I could tell you something that I've done recently for a Discord. How I do it personally is I turn off any interaction when it comes to the settings, for direct messages in any, like, in all my settings. Like, if I can't talk to that person by phone or whatnot and don't know it's them, well, then I know that, somebody is going to act like they're fake support or something. And there is a way to know that they're fake support, but not in the beginning. Like, the way that you do know is you click on their icon, usually their picture, and then when you click on their picture, and then it'll say view profile, you can see that, it'll say the person's name and it'll say a hashtag with numbers. Now that those numbers can never be altered or changed. So if somebody's trying to mimic somebody else's name, which I've done a few videos on this, then they're obviously like, trying to play a bad actor, and you'll see them a lot of the times in like support channels and certain discords that aren't really secured, unlike like communities such as like Orbis 86 or the Bees or some other community. A lot of other communities I've found, they don't allow that to happen, so that way like people aren't trying to say, oh, there's a stealth mint going on or there's something else going on. They make sure that like they keep the official links in the links channel, and I always pay attention to the announcements channel. And other than that, like the permissions need to be set up correctly. And Discord's getting a lot better when it comes to like mod management, even rules and whatnot. But yeah, like I think of it like this way: like there ain't really nobody unless I know they're truly my friend in real life, that I'm going to be accepting as a message, because 99% of them have all been people trying to throw me a scam.
Oh, okay. You're talking about Discord security.
Yes. Yeah.
If one is to start his journey on Discord security, Discord server management, like what, how would one actually start that?
You would like to start that? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I'm actually interested.
Yeah. I two-factor authenticate the whole Discord. Like what I do is I'll get a brand new email, and then I'll two-factor authenticate that email, and then I will take and get a new Discord in that browser, and then in case I have one on the application itself, and then I will 2FA that Discord itself right in the beginning, so that way I know that that Discord's safe right there. That already gives me like. Plus, another good thing to know is to have your phone number, and your email in there with it, because I've had my Discord while doing a giveaway one time totally just wipe out on me, to where I had to find out where I left that phone number at. So if you're gonna put your phone number in a place, make sure it's the one for your project. Like, and then you can hide that information, so that way it's not like seeable by anybody.
Oh, I get. Right. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it. Can I send a DM?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'll do that now.
You might have to follow me back, and that's it though.
Yeah, I'm doing that now.
Thank you both. That was great.
All right,
Yeah,
thank you very much.
definitely. Huh? Go ahead.
I think that's all for now.
Okay. Thank you, Kelly.
Yeah.
And thank you, Phil. Yeah, that's yeah, please everyone follow our speakers and join our Discord. If you guys need any help, you can definitely ask them some questions. So as we're talking about projects, I guess we can ask, so what is a good way to be secured when you're going into a project? So if you are looking for something to invest in, what can you do to like protect yourself?
Sorry, will you repeat that? I was looking at something real quick.
Yeah, no problem. So since we were just talking about like Discord and how you can start one, how for the other way, like if a person wants to join a project or wants to buy an NFT, how do you find out, like how do you get secured for a project that you go into? Like what should you be looking for?
I think the person should first like two-factor authenticate their account, like I said earlier, and then after that, they should go to the actual Twitter account that maybe there's an article out there or a space like what we're having right now, and then like you can go to Orbis 86 if you clicked on Orbis 86 icon right now, and you can find out that like they have Orbis86.com, and within that .com area, you will find their Discord link, and that is probably the safest way to find the Discord link. And then after that, like once you join their Discord, always pay attention to. You're gonna have to sign the rules, of course, of their Discord service and verify through a channel, and that's a good thing, knowing that, because that means they're just secure. They have a secure Discord, unless it's an invite only. But like other than that, like they should always pay attention to three channels. So the announcements is a huge one, and they should pay attention to like also the links, the official links or links, and then they should pay attention to the chat channel, because like you get to meet people and engage, and you get there's all kinds of other things too. And in some discords that are really incredible, like in Orbis, is that I like, they and the bees community, they will like show. What I like about Orbis is that they'll show like articles and whatnot through Medium that they're constantly writing, and I think that adds value to the project, because like they're giving you valuable information that they're putting out there in content on their own time, and that kind of information is really nice to have, because at least the community is putting it out there, through Medium or other collaborations. You get to see what kind of collaborations are going on and everything else. Been doing a lot of like research on analytics for projects, and I see a lot of utility when I go through those certain resources.
I'll add to that, because I'm on a couple of Discords, that if you get a message from someone you're not familiar with, always just double check, if they're actually part of the channel, what link are they actually sending? You can hover over links. If they're trying to, scams are typically, sending you a link that is has some sense of urgency to it. And so I know that, at least in my dealings with people in Web3 and NFT, there's just that FOMO, that fear of missing out. And if you're not paying attention and you click on that link, it could be a malicious link or an attachment. So always just kind of pause and double check and verify that either it's a giveaway or whatever it is actually happening. So reach out to someone outside of the Discord, just to double check that you're not going to click on anything malicious and then have your credentials or your wallet or anything like that compromised.
That's a really good idea. Even like tweeting it out, for the project, like that you're referring to, is a good idea too. So that way, like you're including everybody, like in that tweet.
Yeah, you also mentioned, I just want to make an aside because you mentioned this earlier, Orbis 86, that about identity theft. And oh goodness, I've completely lost my train of thought. Fully doxing, that's what I was thinking about. You still want to be careful with everything that you share online, because there are still hackers, bad actors out there who are going to do open source intelligence, gather information on you, so that they can do phishing, which is voice call phishing, or smishing, which is a text message phishing attack. And just be aware of what you're putting out there, and you're essentially giving out too much information, and that's just fodder for these scammers. We talked a lot about that over the summer with grandparent scams and online grooming and all these other things, where attackers can just gather all this information on you, because you generously put it out there, but try to reel it back in and not give out so much information on yourself so that you won't be compromised.
I totally agree with that 100%. Thank you. Like that's a really good idea. And also in the settings, in your settings, there'll be application settings or something like that. You'll have to scroll through the settings a little bit, but you give access to bots. Now, sometimes some of those bots are compromised. So what I make as a habit is I disconnect from all those bots because you just never know, and it's just good. And I have my messages to where they scan every message that's being sent to me. And you're right, you can find out, through that the person's profile, what projects that they're aligned with you and who their friends are also.
Yeah, I do quite a bit of open source intelligence on different things. I have a number of sock puppets. Sock puppets are just kind of like these fake accounts where I can do research on something or someone. And so just be mindful of that. I mean, I've had cyber stalkers in the past and recently, even this year. So just be mindful of what you're sharing online. It's hard to do when you're the founder of a company like me or like you, and you want to get your name out there. You want to share how cool your project is or what you're doing, but also just be aware that it can be a target as well.
Thanks everyone for that info. Yeah, again, it's a scary world we live in, but it is what it is. So we all should be very careful and trying not to put so much information out there, even though that's hard too, because now everyone asks for like an email or make an account for this, make an account for that. So it's kind of inevitable the amount of information we put out there, but yeah, let's try. And on that note, so should we also be securing other devices? Like, when we're talking about computers here, I'm guessing there's more that we should be doing.
Yeah, I really truly think that we should it's really easy to actually update your Chrome. Like you can go to just your settings on the top right hamburger menu. It drops down. Then the next menu you go to about, and then it automatically updates your Chrome. It's that easy to do and these exploits are happening through the Google Store. And also, also to update frequently, when it comes to like your iPhones or your computer in general. I do because I never know, I only use Windows Defender, and there's a reason why I've used Malwarebytes and stuff like that because there's malvertising, which is I don't like when I get into say an article or a blog and I see a bunch of advertisement everywhere. That right there kind of scares me sometimes. And you're right. Popsicle was saying this earlier, something to do with gosh dang it, she was, oh yeah, when your identity and stuff, where like if you click on one of those, like those advertisements, like you should be clearing your cache every time if you accept cookies, because like they're collecting that data from you, automatically from that site. So I'll just won't accept like the cookies most of the time, unless I like know it's safe and I have to. As far as other devices, yes, like there's also like the firmware when it comes to your router. There's you know there's also other wallets. Sometimes they will go through updates, like the IP, what was it, 1559 when it came to MetaMask. And I mean, there's always updates that update for better gas and other things that are more efficient, because we're seeing a lot of collaborations with these companies to try to make these dApps even more sufficient. Matter of fact, another quick little one that I found out was like I will connect sometimes my MetaMask to my Coinbase account, and then I'll disconnect after I pull through the money, because it's a one quick shoot all the way through. I was helping a person one time. He's like, I have 510 ETH right here, and I can only pull out $200, and I was going, let me try this real quick. And so I hooked up Wallet Connect through Coinbase to his and used the seed phrase of his MetaMask, and I was able to pull out all his funds in one shot like that. I didn't expect that to happen, but it was just one of those things where it was a theory I had, and I tried it, and it worked.
Yeah, just piggybacking on what Phil said, you should always update and patch when you get a notification from your phone provider or Microsoft or Google. I get a newsletter from Cybersecurity Headlines every day, and they're sharing a cyber attack that happens every single day. I'm looking at one right now about Microsoft warns Iranians using Log4Shell. Maybe you know a little bit more about that, Phil, but but we need to be vigilant in patching things because some are critical vulnerabilities, and we just don't want to be in a place where we again lose our identity or our money or anything of those anything like that. So just being again mindful of those patches and our devices, or especially our mobile device. I was just doing a cybersecurity training for one of the companies I consult for today, and they reminded me like not to leave devices unattended even if I'm at home, just being extra smart because I work from home. And then, locking your devices when you step away, and not leaving them in your car, where they could be seen by someone who's walking by and like a smash and grab. So lots of things that we can do on the physical side to protect our devices.
Yeah, keeping on that extra layer of security. That way, like, somebody can't log right in. Like they got to use your face or a PIN. That's always good to know. Thank you so much. And if you ever need any help, like, you can DM me anytime. Like, just letting you know, Popsicle.
Well, thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Yeah, there's a lot of things to do to secure yourself. I mean, if you secure devices, should you also secure your Wi-Fi?
Yes, actually, you should. Like, that's where I was coming up with the MAC filtering. I think somebody was about ready to say something though.
Go ahead, Lemon. Okay, go ahead, Phil.
Yeah, I do think that they should secure their Wi-Fi. So, in your settings on your phone, like, you should go to your settings and have it always, ask, or notify you if it's going to. Never have it connect to outside source Wi-Fi's, because, especially in big cities, like, because people that are bad actors, they will put up like these hotspots that are free, but what they're doing is they're getting ready to throw a backdoor scam on you. That's why it's good to not connect to the free and use your data. Like, it's safer than losing your data. I do this like all the time. Like, I go through all my settings. I don't allow Siri or certain locations on, and I will allow certain stuff on, but I read through everything, and I take my time to do it, because, like, there are some things sometimes I don't even catch on to, and then I'm like, oh, okay, I get what that means now. I better shut that one off too, because I don't want Siri telling me, like, oh, go here, go there, and then all of a sudden somebody else is hacking through that, VoIP, like Popsicle was kind of stating earlier.
Yeah, I also avoid public Wi-Fi, hotspots. I don't allow location services turned on. And I also don't typically connect to my Bluetooth, because those are also good ways to get hacked.
Yep. They got snarfing and Bluetooth, all kinds of Bluetooth hacks, like, where they can take control of your whole car or device. Very true. Very great information to add on. I appreciate you coming on and be able to clarify some things I missed.
Dang, Bluetooth as well. It seems like we're adding things to the list. uh, I mean,
Yeah,
even
it's never ending, unfortunately. We are just in the time
Yep.
where we are so connected to our device. I kind of like, if I leave my phone to go run an errand, I'm almost like I'm crying. I'm like, I should just go back home and get my phone because now I'm so attached to it. And I also do a lot of work on my phone. In not work where I'm consulting, but work, just my personal work and personal stuff. I do a lot of stuff on my phone, like reading those cybersecurity articles or newsletters or connecting to people through social media and whatnot.
yeah, definitely. Allie, do you have a question?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I had never heard the thing about the cars before through Bluetooth. How
Oh
how
yeah.
how close, far away? How does that work?
I can't remember like how far away. Like that all depends on the attack because they do
Mhm.
have like computer attacks where they can go from a distance, and act like they're a cell tower. But they have to have really high tech in order to act like they're a cell tower. You know, that you're not gonna see that in rural areas. You're gonna see that more so in like, city areas than you are, like
Yeah,
small.
I live in the middle of a really big city, so
Yeah, it's not likely to happen. Like something like that, like, oh yeah, like the government does monitor things like that. It's more stuff the government uses, during a chase, or something. That there has been known other ways that they have been used, but I have never heard too much more than a few things in my books.
thanks very much.
Yeah, thanks everyone. So I mean, if even if you don't like connect to Wi-Fi and the Bluetooth and all that, I mean, is your phone still going to be compromised or possibly compromised, especially with the messages coming in from your phone?
Yeah, actually, you're right. Like that was one I missed. I get a lot of messages every day, like and same with my friend, and he's 60 years old, and he'll get somebody that calls, and they'll be like, "Hey, what's your social security?" Well, we're not gonna give that out so quickly. But I get these like, "Hey, who are you?" or "Hey there, dude," or something like that, right? And I'm like, I instantly go to, or if somebody calls me I don't know, I'll say, "Who is this?" without my name, and then sometimes I'll answer because in case it's somebody I do know that got compromised, that I'm trying to help out. So what I do though is I never state my name. And if I see those messages with links, I'll instantly go to my settings and block that number. I probably block on an average of 30 numbers a day. Like
Who's calling you? Oh my
I
gosh.
I think I'm just highly being attacked because I've helped somebody out recently that was compromised. I had to alternate VPNs and everything. Like it was crazy. I was scared. I really gotta say I was really scared when I figured out it was real.
Yeah, my designer who works for me for Popsicle, she actually just sent me a message this morning that she received, and it's from US Post. It says your package has arrived at the sorting center, but was held due to an incomplete address. Please update the address. And then there's like this, link that of course is very suspicious because the US Postal Service would never send you a text message like this. And so you block the number, delete it. I mean, I tell people often that the best response is no response. I don't answer my phone unless I know who is the actual caller is. I let it just roll into voicemail. Same thing with smishing text messages. I don't respond to things. I just delete it. Sometimes I get those messages where like hundreds of people are on the text message and I block the number. So
Yeah.
it's just kind of just a scary world out there. I hate to add to the fear of it, but I think a little fear goes a long way.
Yeah, it's education. Like I got a funny little story just to put a little wrap on a joke here, but it wasn't really a joke at the time. My grandpa was called by my fake lawyer, and I was supposedly in jail in Orange County and needed bail money, but he was in Florida. And my grandpa finally calls me, the next morning. I was doing homework, like during that time quite a bit. And like I go, why didn't you call me? He sent out $2,000 in real money in a like anyways in an envelope, and I'm going, what the heck? So luckily I was able to intercept that money and have it sent back. And I said, don't say nothing to your lawyer. We're gonna go to the cops. I went to the cops, and my fake lawyer calls, and we're all sitting there laughing like at the guy because like he thinks his money's coming in and he got away with something because I guess the guy that sounded like me, that was in jail, sounded really identical to me. So they must have been using some kind of voice, like automated system thing.
Yeah, I just posted in the Nest our grandparent scam Twitter space that we had. I think that was 2 weeks ago. I also had a guest speaker who was my mom. She's a lawyer, and she also talked about kind of the legal consequences of scamming elderly people because it is a sentence enhancement, and there's uh, additional fines or additional jail time for scamming people who are vulnerable.
Yeah, it's a fantastic resource. We definitely need to protect our grandparents as well, anyone who's a bit older.
Yeah, and use like a Signal is a good app to use, for peer-to-peer encryption. And in WhatsApp, I do like the fact that you can kind of like 2FA that a bit, and I use Telegram as more of a storage area, like for offloading my files when I'm waiting on, say, some of my external hard drives and whatnot, because we can only really load 100 megabytes when the Discord's up, like worth of a file size.
Okay, cool. And those text messages, I have gotten those too, where there's a bunch of people on it. But I just delete them. Should we also block them?
Yeah, you should block every single one of them. See, like, because you're gonna start having every single one start attacking one another, and like there's nothing you can say or do. I usually go, hey, this is a scam. Like I'm gonna do you guys a justice and just like let you guys know to block every single one, including me in here. And then at least you can't hear another message again or another message that you forgot to block.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, same with ones that you get on, Facebook or other social media where you can leave the group and then block the people.
Okay. Thanks. That makes sense. A little more work, but let's just add that to the list of how to protect yourself. um, so let's see. Oh, and what about apps on your phone? Like, how do you protect? Like, is your phone protected, or do you also have to protect your apps as well?
I have to protect my apps personally. Like, there's some like say my like I'll have MetaMask on my phone, and if I get a little feeling, I'll uninstall it personally. It's a smaller wallet, but like I won't have it like allowed to even connect to my Wi-Fi at all. Unless like I'm at home. Like it just I have it set up that way. I went through a lot of all my apps and like went through their settings to be able to only allow the app to be able to be functionable while I'm using it. Other than that, like it shouldn't be used. And if you start noticing that there's an app on there that shouldn't be there, well then like I would highly suggest like put in airplane mode, like getting or forgetting all networks, and then getting all your files off and factory restart on the phone.
Yeah, and just you can call the apps on your phone. If you're not using something, get rid of it because when you install an app, you are agreeing to their terms and conditions and privacy policy and all of that. And you really should read your terms and conditions, because you understand how they're collecting the data, who they're sharing it with, what other third parties are also receiving your data. And it just kind of, again, it snowballs into your personal identifiable information being kind of out there in the world where you don't want it to be.
Yeah, you're so right. And when it comes to apps also, like I always like read all those fine prints you were talking about, Popsicle, and I also um I noticed that the only one that is not the securest, like Instagram, you can secure Instagram, you can secure, Telegram and all these other apps like Twitter, whatnot, but you cannot secure like TikTok. You got to report, and it's like that's the only one you can't like secure the most.
Yeah, I do not. I think maybe Phil, you might be on the same page with me, but I do not trust TikTok, so I do not use it because it is a massive security risk. And I just saw another article about TikTok doing keystroke logging, where it can see what you're typing in. So that's a hard no for me.
Yeah, because they install it deep in your registry files. Matter of fact, like I just reformatted a computer one time in college, and it was like during my first semester of cybersecurity, and like I wanted to see this happen. So I had one of those flash warning fake, phishing, websites come up that kind of, take over the whole screen. It was Microsoft. You got a warning. You got to pay like $170. Well, I allowed the call to happen and allowed the guy to start going to my computer because I want to see where he was going. He was heading straight towards my registry to put a backdoor right in there. I kicked him off and everything, and I reformatted the computer instantly. But yeah, you're right. Like, you got to be careful on that one.
Mhm. Yeah, I think it's good cyber hygiene to have a really strong password and enable 2FA or MFA, whatever it is, like um whatever it's called on the different platforms. Sometimes they're just called different things: two-factor verification, two-factor authentication, multi-factor authentication. It's all the same thing.
Yes, it is. That's why, like, I remember Alberto talking earlier about like multi-sigs. Now, multi-sigs can be good and they can be bad. Like, they can be good as in fact that they're good for security, but they can be bad as far as like for a business if like that trusted other person, what I mean, like they get compromised, and that's where like you got to be careful and know who you're working with.
Thanks for that info. Chassie, did you have a question or comment?
Yeah, it was a little further back. I'll also add to just the topic of security. If you can, password managers are good too. This reduces the risk if one of the applications that you authenticate to were to be compromised. And of course, you definitely want to keep that if you do choose to use a password manager secure. So I would definitely enable MFA or what it is 2FA, right? Whether with OTP with another application like Google Auth or Authy, or YubiKey, to go even as far as YubiKey if you purchase one, and cold storage wallets. I didn't hear any talk about cold storage wallets. That's good too.
Yeah, cool. I like cold storage wallets, like because they're making them to where you can even plug them into your phones now. This is where I highly always follow everything I'm notified all the time when MetaMask makes a tweet because I look through, what's new, what they're upgrading to, and I like the fact that it adds, you can add a 25th word sometimes on some of the Nano Ledger Live X's, and they combined with MetaMask, and there was Consensus, and there was another wallet guard that was helping them out on something on the side. But I highly agree with the cold storage. Matter of fact, I got a few things on that here in a minute.
Thanks, Jesse. So is that cold storage the same as a cold wallet?
Yeah, it's basically it's going to be a device that usually USB C or USB A, and you can also put it onto an external hard drive if you wanted to. But typically these follow different security protocols like FIPS and whatnot. And then what's neat about them is you can generate many wallets, right? So if there's something that you're interacting with like MetaMask, which I always think of a little bit more riskier. When I'm dealing with DeFi platforms or altcoins or whatnot, I'll typically have my risky wallet for that. And so these hardware wallets, these cold wallets, or however you want to call them, these hardware wallets, they give you these advantages to kind of mitigate that risk or reduce that risk.
So yeah, I wrote a little something on cold storage wallets, and the security of cold wallets comes with a significant risk of like helping out, but loss if you don't have one. So for example, if you do forget your PIN and backup codes, it may be impossible to recover. Cryptocurrencies, there are ways to hack into them, but like that takes a qualified specialist. Or other assets on the device. In addition, if you lose or destroy the device, your crypto assets are gone forever. Therefore, it's vital to keep the device and backup codes safe. That is the only risk. But they are better. Because they add an extra layer of security, regardless to your cryptocurrency, and that extra security is needed. Now, if you are compromised, though, you're compromised. So there is no coming back from the compromised seed phrase. Underlying, you just can't put, a cold storage wallet right after you get compromised. It will not help. You'll still be compromised. And to be careful, I believe it was Alberto, he was speaking on it earlier, is that you don't want what was he saying? He was saying something to do with cold storage wallets, yeah, it'll come back to me right now. I'm just a little tired. Hold on.
Thanks, Phil. So is there anything better than either a hot wallet or cold wallet?
I still agree with paper wallet. I just personally do. They also have storage safe cryptos where you can put them in, say, a metal capsule. You can put them inside a vault, or somewhere safe and hidden. But at least when it's written and it's hidden somewhere, torn in fours and separated, nobody can really gather that information all the way. They can only get part of it.
Thanks, Phil. Alberto, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I think that Phil was trying to recall that I mentioned about the hard storage, sorry, the hardware wallets that actually are not bulletproof. They can be dangerous. I mentioned that some of them, they sell them with the firmware altered. So if you get one of them, goodbye. It's not thinking, okay, this is hardware, this is secure. No, be careful. Buy it if you can directly from the manufacturer, from Ledger in France if you can't, if you're buying a Ledger one. I think that was what he wanted to say. By the way, I have to be right back in 5 minutes. Hold on.
You're right. That's exactly what I want to say. Thank you for jumping up here, Albert. I see a hand up. Chassis?
Yep. Sorry. It's just a habit. So no, I completely agree with Alberto. There definitely needs to be chain of custody. So when you're getting into these hardware wallets, remember you're doing this to reduce risk. So you want to take all the due diligence to vet, who you're buying from. Typically, you want to buy from the manufacturer's website, which may lead you to, an Amazon shopping cart in some cases. But you definitely want to do that, because I've actually met people and been given these devices that were duplicated with the firmware altered. But I will say that I love the way you thought about it, Phil. Like, that's how I think about security. You definitely want to surround yourself with as many as protective shields as possible. And if this is just one extra shield you can add to your armor, let's do it, right? So 100%.
I always try to, like, not only like hear or do the research on a scam. Like, I always try to find out what the risks are, or what the alternative is to helping out with the scam, and then I try to find out the risk are for whatever you're using for VPN or other things, because we're all trying to be DeFi here, and we're all trying to help one another out. And in some countries, some of those VPNs are just not available, and it's just not fair, I don't think.
Unfortunately, that's not an area that I'm very technical to explain things in, so I'll have to defer. Maybe Alberto can chime in when he gets back. But I definitely think that the regulations in certain countries around the world do differ, and that in some cases they're made unfair. But I'm a big believer in crypto in general. And smart contracts, and there are many use cases, and I've dealt with many of them. And it definitely has a place, and I don't think it's going anywhere.
No, you're right. I don't. I think this is a huge, like, we're all in the building phase. And this is why the bear market doesn't even scare me or affect me one bit, because like, we can just sit there and build all day long, or start learning and doing the research, because this gives us time to do the research, like, and not really FOMO into anything, but just have understanding, because then we reduce that fear. The more that I've done project analytics, the more that I became immune to the FUD or the hype and stuff like that. Like, but I also see where projects have utility, and utility is very important in any project. And when you see that that project is doing not only, like, X, A, B, but they're doing C, D, E, F, and G, like, that's when I'm like, oh, hey, like, this is a project that resonates with me. And not only that, they're doing spaces, like, with awareness, and not only cybersecurity, but like, AMAs with collaborations, and all that stuff. I believe is utility, because we're all supposed to be combining our thoughts together. And the more I see that, and the more projects I see doing that, the more that I resonate with those projects. And that's why I resonate a lot with Orbius 86, because like, this is, like, we worked that booth, and, like, it was just it was incredible, like. And when we met, like, Snoop Dogg, it was fun, and it was just like, all that utility, regardless, like, it's all collaboration, it's all us getting along. And like, yes, of course, security is majorly important, but so is, like, us building together as a whole.
That's awesome. Yes, 100%. I can't disagree with you. And I think I just want to say also, I talk a lot, and I share a lot about security. And somebody had mentioned about it being referenced as like a hygiene, and that's exactly how I think about it. So good, awesome.
Thank you so much. Yeah, these are great ideas, great thoughts. And yeah, I think Allie had asked earlier, about why take such a risk and stuff. But I think we take risks every day, and this is such a new place that it's nice that we get to build this new Web3 and this new, cryptocurrencies and all this stuff. So I think it's nice that we have a hand in it. Sure, there's going to be scammers, but we can work to, work them out. And all these cybersecurity people are here to help us as well. So I don't think we should be too afraid of trying to push this forward, because I think we do need more control over. It would be nice to have control over my money and not have to pay, banks money to send money to someone else when I can just hand them to it. Little thing that be improved, with us having more control, more direct access, to our money. So thank you all for that. And so some last words, any advice to give to the speakers, to the listeners, any resources that they should go and look at? I think Popsicle had put up something, to check out. So yeah, any last words, everyone?
Well, if you don't mind, I would like to say that I don't know if you mentioned this, but I was away for some minutes. But regarding all the risks involved in NFT projects and what we should be taking a look at before investing or putting our money in a project, one thing that we didn't mention, but is a whole another, I mean, it's a lot of talking is regarding the smart contracts and yeah, making sure that if you're putting money in a project and the smart contract has been audited by a third independent party, that's a good guarantee that I mean, it's not bulletproof. Again, nothing is bulletproof, but it's a good way of making sure that the risk that the code behind the smart contracts are not malicious, and it can save you a lot of headaches, both for the part of the group that is behind the project and the people that are investing in the project. Smart contracts are a big deal in all this.
I 100% agree with you, Alberto. And I also want to piggyback off that and add also read the white papers, get to know these projects, the developers behind them, make sure that they have good process. Recently, what was it? There was a project where a developer, tried to make an action and actually locked the project's main contract, and about 600 and some odd $1,000 were locked up. I mean, they're in good faith right now with their members and but like that's definitely something to keep in mind. Like you definitely want to get to know these projects and who's operating these.
Yeah, you're 100% right, because like and that's where it comes back to kind of like that multi-sig thing, like what if like like if it was only like like that person's wallet instead of like the whole wallet itself, as in for the whole company, that could have taken down that whole project in just one like swipe. And it's a good thing that they rebound off that. That's why I do like revoke.cash. I don't ever recommend like putting your or connecting your wallet, but I do recommend like pasting your ETH address in there. That's what I do. And then I just shift it from crypto to NFT, so that way they can't take unlimited amount of tokens or NFTs from my wallet out. They just don't have that capability because you're revoking the access to do so.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I came late. So you probably talked about signatures and how the like signing the smart contract is different than just entering the address, right?
Yes, yeah. And I think Alberto touched base on this a bit, but like you do have to be careful because like you don't know, like if they're using AWS or IPFS file systems, or like or if or what they're doing. And I know that some projects are hiding like NFTs because those are supposed to be like the secret of the launch behind like certain aspects of the project. But like like when I start seeing like for example like flashbots or medbots like somewhere created by a contract creator, that's what pulls me back from a project sometimes, like because I'm not understanding, unless of course I have a brief explanation from like what you were saying, Chaz, by the developers, like this is why and this is how we're protecting the community. A simple brief explanation, and that's it. Like they don't need to get so crazy with it or think that it's a negative approach. I think it's just very valuable for that whole community as a whole.
Thanks, Phil and Chelsea. So yeah, basically, recap, slow down, read the fine print, be wary on Discord with people you don't know, and don't click on messages and links that you don't know. Be patient. Everyone is trying to help everyone else. So if you have a question, please reach out, especially to our speakers. Popsicle, was there any last advice that you want to add that people should be thinking about?
Oh yeah, we haven't really talked about behavior online, but I'll just leave you with the be kind online. Things that you post and share never go away. So if you are mean online, someone can share that, screenshot it. Even if you delete it, those things never go away. We have a whole sect of cybersecurity professionals and digital forensics who can find it. And it can really be quite devastating to your future if you're a student and you're looking to go to college and the college finds your posts or your future employer sees what you've posted. It can really ruin your reputation if you are unkind online. And so again, I like to say, just be mindful of what you put out there, and sharing too much, sharing where you are when you're going to be somewhere, it can haunt you. And my mom would tell you, because she's a lawyer, that she has had lots of clients who put it out there into the world and had to be presented to a judge, and it ruined them. And so just be very thoughtful and just err on the side of kindness. So that would be my advice.
Thanks, Teresa. I mean, yeah, that's really good advice. I mean, just in general, like just be kind. But the fact that now everything is so permanent online is definitely, hopefully, another enhancer to this idea of being kind to each other. Alberto, do you want to say something?
No, regarding what I said, regarding what you post online, yeah, you might follow my pieces of advice regarding this. Do your own research always, but don't do what I do. I mean, I am aware of the things that I do. For example, I post pictures where I am with timestamps showing where they are. Okay, it doesn't have the metadata regarding where they are, but it's easy to know with open source intelligence. I do that on purpose, but that's because it doesn't matter the reason, but don't do that. don't. I mean, unless you have a good reason in order to do that, only share the information that you need to share in order to get what you want in the social network that you are. If you're here only to read information about politics, okay, you don't need to put your real picture, your real name. You just have to have an account where you can read that. That's all you need. Then okay, I have been completely doxed. I mean, you put my name on Google, and Google knows more about me than myself. So sometimes when I forget about something about my life, I go to Google and I search it out. But that's another story. But yeah, be careful. Be careful, because you are putting yourself at a much higher risk that you might think about if you don't take into account what she has said. I completely agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah. And I also posted some, we have our, my company's Popsicle. We have a Popsicle website. We also have our Pop School, which is our online school. We have a password course that's available, but we also have a number of free resources, which I posted that link to in the nest. And those are our Popsicle tips. We've posted things about passwords and multi-factor authentication. And then we had our Back to Cyber School series that just ended on Sunday. So we hit a bunch of kind of technical topics around like VPNs and Wi-Fi and hotspots, but we also kind of address some hot topics around like online grooming and sexting, grandparent scams, and those things. So a lot of those tips are available on our Pop School website now.
I think a good one, like I love your project because like I know it always resonates to me when it has to do with children. Like it's just been a passion to educate the youth. And I think you might want to look into maybe next time like malvertising. It's something new I've seen, you know, and because a lot of these, like Google or other places, like will put this advertisement out there that there's free jobs and all this other stuff, but like, you know, they're not informing that, you know, like if you click on there could also be, you know, like malvertising behind it. Just some food for thought later on, you know, when you get deeper into like educating on
No, that's
some
great.
other stuff.
That's great. Thank you. I actually, in part of my business plan, there's over 30 different topics of cybersecurity, over 30 different cybersecurity topics. I'm not sure I have malvertising, but I will definitely add it.
Cool. Thank you, everyone. I mean, this has been a great space. I think we've all learned a little bit more than we used to know. And I think it's something that we need to keep reminding each other of, like, hey, don't click that link. Hey, you know, back up your passwords. I mean, these are basic things, but we all got to keep reminding each other, especially because times keep changing and hackers keep changing and scams keep changing. So definitely got to keep up on these things and make sure we remind each other to be safe. So be sure to follow all of our speakers. Reach out if they have questions. We're here to, you know, answer your questions and help you out. We are Orbis 86, a 3D NFT project. So check out all of our speakers, follow us, and join us on Discord. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.